my story recently about the disgraced BBC presenter Hugh Edwards, it came as no surprise to find in today's Sunday Times that once again the BBC Director General, whatever he is, the BBC Chair, Samir Shah, well, he's apparently asking for the money back. I mean, asking, right? This is the ridiculous thing. You paid the man this money in good faith. He brought the company into disrepute. What's to ask? You either get legal with him. Of course, at this point, does he really care? Because he's got nothing to lose. But when you look at the BBC as a whole, we're now getting record numbers of people refusing to pay their TV licence. And many people might say, rightly so, because all the illegals that are coming in are living in these 3, 4, 5-star hotels, not having to pay to watch television. And let me tell you, many are also receiving that extra added bonus of some of the streaming giants that you and I could only dream of paying for if you wanted it. I know many of us don't because, we all agree there's nothing on, right? But the BBC now are in further flux, and this is because, as I've pointed out to you on numerous occasions, what the BBC do is, if somebody misbehaves, well, they get a bit of a telling off, like these presenters. This particular presenter was disrespectful and rude to the Reform UK party leader, Nigel Farage. And she is the sister of another presenter who also was suspended for a week on Channel 4 for swearing live on air. This is the calibre of journalism that we now have, right? But she was forced to apologise on air and then got her job back and just puts on different shifts in the hope that you don't recognise her. The other woman, Martine, right, well, she decided she was joyful when Boris Johnson was removed out of office and didn't care. They suspended her eventually. Now she's slid back onto the screens and you're paying for this privilege, you understand. But the biggest problem for the BBC is truly this. Let me explain. Morning chums, lovely to see you. Thank you so much for joining me. This is a huge problem, let me tell you. Because when you think about it, we used to turn to the news channels in the hope that we got reality, and as many people understand here on this channel, I am blunt if nothing else, and I tell you what I find out. Even though, yes, I work for elements of the mainstream media, and I don't always agree with them, and that's the point, you see. I think if you're a straight-talking northerner, they don't really understand what to do with you. Oh no, that's tricky. But the bottom line, you see, is this. Recently, they had a brand new mayoral election in the county of Lincolnshire, a lovely area of the country here in the United Kingdom, a marvellous theatre royal and a brilliant cathedral. A little bit hilly is what I would say. Yes, make sure you've got stern shoes on if you go to Lincoln, right? But here's where it gets really interesting, because rather than be kind and respectful to the mayoral electorate, who I also told you was also treated incredibly badly by Sky News, well, then they put this up on their web pages. A former Greggs worker and a former Miss UK finalist. Now, first and foremost, what's wrong with working for Greggs, which is a huge bakery over here in the United Kingdom, very popular with everybody. And what an achievement to even get in the Miss UK finalists. But sneering, trying to run somebody down, this is the level of journalism. They very, well, I wouldn't say quickly, but eventually decided to take it down. Now, when you look at it at that level, they're already trying to incite you against this particular individual. And I'm speaking impartially. This could happen to any single one of us. But the bottom line is, it happened to her. And now you're supposed to pay for this wonderful privilege of this high-level journalism. And as you can understand, nobody now wants to pay for it. But as ever, even Hugh Edwards has decided they can whistle if they want their money back. Now, they can't get your money because so many of us are refusing to buy TV licenses. So eventually they will have to go to a pay level way of funding themselves. So while all of these people behind the scenes think it's hilarious to put on their web pages stuff like this and allow these disrespectful and people say unimpartial journalists back on air, maybe that might make them think when they're all unemployed. What do you think? Neil Sean in the very heart of London.